Ja, hallo, hier ist Michael Adams für Stock-Telegraph. Ich bin in Vancouver und habe jetzt eine ganz, ganz spannende Company gefunden und insbesondere auch wirklich ein sehr fähiges Management-Team. Und ich bin wirklich hoch erfreut und geehrt, dass Ron Netolitzky, that Ron Netolitzky sich die Zeit genommen hat, mit mir zu sprechen, natürlich auch Walter Coles. Und ich bin bei Skeena Resources, das Symbol an der TSX Venture ist SKE. Und wirklich, also es ist ein außergewöhnliches Projekt, außergewöhnliches Management-Team und warum, das erfahren wir jetzt. So, guys, first of all, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me. And in my German introduction I said that I'm honored to talk to you guys, right? And maybe you give us the reason why and give us your background.
Okay, well, I've been a geologist since 1964.
Right.
So I guess longevity makes success.
Okay.
And basically I've been in the mineral exploration business in Canada and on a global basis for those period to currently, and I'm still involved in mineral exploration. I no longer trek through the woods, live in tents much.
But you did that in the past.
Oh, I did that for years and years of my life, run public companies.
Yeah.
And sometimes life is luck and brains and combined, and I had lots of good luck because I got involved in some serious gold discoveries in Canada.
Okay.
And actually on a global basis in other parts of the world too.
Oh, okay.
So, and in Canada, I get attributed to discovery of two very good gold mines in British Columbia.
Right.
The Snip mine, which is formerly a producer, approximately 1 million ounces, running about an ounce per ton.
Wow.
Very profitable little mine.
I can imagine, yeah.
And Eskay Creek, which is probably the largest silver mine historically in Canada. And it's no longer in production, but it produced a major resource of, I can't remember, 3 or 4 million ounces of gold and hundreds of millions of ounces of silver.
Okay. And you've been also honored by the PDAC?
PDAC twice, and I'm very fortunate. Many years ago, I was nominated as Prospector of the Year.
Wow.
And that was related to these Canadian discoveries.
Right.
And subsequent to that, just last year, I got inducted into the Canadian Mining Hall of Fame.
So that's like the Hockey Hall of Fame, right?
Well, it's a smaller one,
Okay.
but we got some pretty famous guys like this year, including Mr. Friedland, Bob Friedland, got nominated.
Right. So
we got good company.
Good company, perfect. Walter, what's about your background?
My background is investment banking. I worked for UBS in New York for almost 8 years. Then I worked for a hedge fund. And then I got into this business by virtue of some family land in the United States that had minerals on it.
Okay.
So I left the financial world to join this.
Which wasn't probably a bad decision, but now looking at the resource market, it's also struggling.
Well,
it will get better.
Yeah.
Well,
I checked my crystal ball.
You have to embrace the volatility of this sector.
Right.
It's just that's what commodities are. They're cyclical. Yeah. But the downturn in commodities is the opportunity to invest, to build, to acquire. That's where you lay the foundation for the upside. Because when the upswing comes, that's when you're selling. And
I totally agree. And in this phase of the market, you only have the good companies that will survive. Yeah, like all the forgive my French, but the crap companies will get out. They're going into medical marijuana or high tech or fintech, but the companies that have some real value, some real assets, a real good management team, they will survive. That's my true feeling. And so let's talk about the project that Skeena has.
Okay, Skeena has been around for a long time as a public company.
Okay.
And I feel a lot of pride that we have been involved in these little mining companies, and many of them turned out to be successful, but we have never had one disappear.
Okay.
We've always survived. And we reorganized Skeena a little over a year ago, about a year and a half ago, rolled it back because we had a project in Mexico that was a reasonable project, but it wasn't going anywhere, and the market was wrong for low-grade copper and low-grade platinum, palladium, gold. So we looked at opportunities, and I got pushed to look at the area that I've been most successful in, which we call the Golden Triangle in Northwest BC.
Okay.
And we were able to acquire a very interesting project that has been basically nothing has happened on since 1992. It had major successful exploration to the end of 92.
Right.
Politics stopped that because the left-wing government, the NDP, got into power, and they actually destroyed the mining industry in BC for at least 10 years, maybe 20.
And so it's not a grassroots project. And did you get all the historical data?
We have all the historical data, all
Okay.
the sections, all the plans, all the results, and that is worth a lot of money.
Sure.
And we basically bought the property from the current vendor, and I was a minority shareholder of the property at that time.
Okay.
Basically, I had been financing this vendor, and we bought it for shares.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons there's a lot of shares outstanding on this company, but we paid no cash. We just paid shares
Okay.
for the total 100% ownership of the property.
Okay. You were mentioning the number of outstanding shares. So I guess you're the financial partner to talk to. So yeah, what's the situation? Well, how many shares are outstanding? What's the market cap? What's cash right now?
Sure. We have about 325 million shares outstanding.
Okay.
We have just over $4 million of cash. Market cap on the company is approximately 20 million
Okay.
today. The interesting thing about our company is that the top 9 shareholders own approximately 90% of the company.
Wow.
So
Okay.
the share register is actually very concentrated. The retail holdings in the company are less than 10% of the shares outstanding. So
Okay.
it would not take much in the way of drilling success to cause the stock to go dramatically higher.
And of course, you need to do a little bit, but that's maybe a first step to get the word out, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so-
You know, it's a situation where so far I think the company and its people have done a very good job of identifying the institutional and larger investors, and we now have to attract a component of retail, so we
Yeah.
have a retail market. And
It's always
that will,
important to have both, right?
you need a
Yeah.
bit of both, because the retail market actually establishes the price of your financings for the institutions. These people,
If the institutions are not fooling around with it.
yeah, well, they will
We've
do
seen
both.
that
But
too.
if you don't, if you have a strong retail base that starts
Yeah.
believing in you, and I think we're getting very close to that transition. But we realize we have to. We've done the institutional side very well,
Right.
and we have to focus on getting ourselves. We have, you know, a lot of long-term shareholders out of that 10%. They haven't sold. I'd say over half or 3/4 of them have been holding the stock for 15 to 20 years.
Right. So what's the liquidity on the exchange? It's not a lot of shares.
It varies by day. In December, for instance, we had one day where almost 6 million shares traded.
Okay.
And I think yesterday we didn't have any shares trade.
Okay.
So it's there's definitely some variability
Okay.
to it.
You mentioned the strong institutional shareholder base. When you talk to the investors, the institutions, but also the retail, do you think that having Ron on board, the name, does that help you? Like especially with the institutions?
Well, absolutely. When you think of the most profitable mines that have ever gone into production in British Columbia, Ron discovered both of them.
Right.
So he has the best track record, period, for British Columbia. So
Okay.
if you're going to entrust your very hard-earned capital with an entrepreneur, you want to make that bet with someone who has a proven track record for success.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no better a geologist to make that bet with than Ron Netolitzky.
Are there any mind games about doing something to the shareholder structure? Not the shareholder, but the share structure, like the number of outstanding shares. There's there's ways that are hard, but
It's an interesting dynamic because the institutional investors say, it's a pie. It's the same size pie no matter how many
They don't
times.
care, right.
No matter how many times you slice it, whether it's 4 slices or 8 slices, the pie is still the same size.
Right.
So the institutions don't focus on how many shares are outstanding. The retail audience is very focused on that, and It's something that we're cognizant of, and I think that we will address it in conjunction with something very positive, such as acquisition.
Sure. I think, you know what, we've had one acquisition so far that we've done, which is to the Spectrum property, is it's called the GJ project,
Okay.
which we acquired from Tech and NGEX, and it was acquired for a very small fraction of the money that was been spent on it, and we ended up with a significant resource already drilled off and copper and gold,
Okay.
and an open pit opportunity, and numerous exploration targets, plus all the ground we needed to give ourselves some breathing space around our GJ or around our property, because our original property was it's a very small, very steep, very rugged country.
Okay.
We didn't have good areas for infrastructure. We now have all that, and we actually own the mineral rights right to the highway and the power lines.
Oh, so that's all close to your project.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so infrastructure is there.
Yeah,
workforce is also available.
There's the local northern communities at Taltan.
Okay.
They are basically a mining-oriented group. They have made a lot of their business. It's been mining and logging, and they run businesses, and they've been in the business of supplying labor,
Okay.
and they're local, and they're good people, and they're hard workers, and they're smart.
Okay.
And
That's cool.
you know, we recognize that the world has changed. We have to have partnerships.
Right, and you also need a partnership probably to the First Nations. Is there First
Yeah,
Nations?
well, yeah,
around?
that's Taltan. They're First Nation.
Oh, okay, they are first. Okay, okay.
Yeah. And you know, we are cognizant that everything is changing, and we have to be proactive on this,
Definitely.
because if we don't have a pie, they don't have a pie.
Right.
But if we get too greedy, we won't have a pie either.
Right.
So we have to share.
I totally agree. Yeah, and it has to be fair, and you have to work with that.
Yeah.
Right.
So what we have focused on is saying, okay, we have a real good piece. We're going to take probably another couple of years to get it to where we'll know what kind of mine it will be. But I think we got a potential commercial deposit. We don't know what it is yet.
Right.
We need to do much more drilling, but we have to do a lot of more legwork than we have found a lot more targets in this last summer. You know, really, we've only owned the property for 14 months, and we've done how many meters of drilling? It's
20,000.
20,000 meters.
And what's the drill program for this year?
Just working it up, but it'll be less than what we did last year.
Okay.
Because we are focused on knowing where we want to put these holes, and we're focused on new targets which we have to develop and put some drill holes in.
Okay.
And you know, sometimes we ran fast, and now we're going to catch up.
Sure.
And we're at the same time we're reviewing what we call the Golden Triangle area, and we have spent considerable effort and time looking at every project there that we can see, and we're hopefully going to find another couple advanced projects to go with the company,
Okay.
because it gives us flexibility, and it gives the shareholders an opportunity that it's more secure not having all your eggs in one basket.
But are you going to focus with this potential new project? Are you going to focus in the same area, or are you?
It's all going to be
all
the
over
region.
Canada?
No, it's basically our highest priority is what we call a Golden Triangle, which
Right.
is a small area around northwest BC.
Okay.
It's got the same geology, same commonality. It's Pretium is in the same geology as we are,
Oh, okay.
and Pretium is tremendous grade, tremendous
Right.
results.
Yeah.
And so are the other projects we talk about. Eskay Creek was in the same geology. The Snip is in the same geology. Premier Silback mine on the coast at Stewart that had significant historic production and is still being explored. Same geology.
Okay.
So we're focused on this geology priority, but we will look at advanced projects anywhere if they are good for building shareholder value.
Right. And
Our objective is we are shareholders,
right.
and that's the way we think.
Yeah. And there are bargains around. Yeah, we don't have to go into detail right now. But tell me about what are the other plans for 2016? What's moving forward? What kind of news flow can the investor expect?
I think our general theme is now is the time to be buying and building. So we're focused on recruiting the best technical experts in the world to come work with us.
Okay.
We want to build the premier platform for mineral exploration in Western Canada. And that goes hand in hand with acquiring the highest quality assets that exist in Western Canada.
Okay.
With the idea that eventually the cycle swings up. Hopefully it's a couple years from now, because that gives us time to do the work that we need to do.
I disagree. I hope it's turning up faster, but I understand.
Well,
I got two hats on.
Yeah, right.
I mean, look, the way you make money is you buy things cheap and you sell them when everybody else wants them.
Right.
So we need time to get through the opportunities that are out there.
Yep.
So I think we wake up every day extremely excited and enthusiastic about the opportunities that exist right now.
Right.
So fortunes are made based on what you do now.
Yeah.
And the thing that a lot of investors don't realize, because we are all focused on the US dollar and valuing in Canadian dollars, the gold price is actually
Up. Same in euro.
Yeah,
right?
very
So,
good.
Yeah.
It's very productive, very profitable to have gold mines now, small ones,
Yeah.
in Canada.
Yeah. Well, because all your costs are in Canadian dollar,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
sell for US dollars.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to a company in Mexico, and they have huge added value because of the dollar development. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
So I just
yeah.
want to. You asked about news flow, and we've been working very hard at looking at acquisitions and projects to acquire, and I think we'll have an announcement, hopefully here in the next couple weeks, of a tremendous asset that will be added to the portfolio of Skeena.
The more
Okay.
assets you get, the more assets you can go after,
Right.
Yeah.
because you become a bigger entity.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, guys, that was a very good first introduction to the company. I will follow the development of the company, and of course give this information to my readers and viewers. And I would love to hook up with you again, maybe in 6 weeks or when PDIC is coming up. Yeah, maybe there's some developments we could talk about. And until then, good luck to you.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay.
Thanks.